WTBR FM, Pittsfield.
Welcome to Ham on WTBR, the all-inclusive ham radio show for hams and non-hams alike. Be part of the show. Contact us on www.facebook.com/HamJamTV. And now the hosts of the show, Peter and Jessica. Ham on.
And good morning from
everybody.
gloomy Berkshire County in Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, I know.
It's Wednesday again.
Yes,
You
yes,
are
it is.
listening to Ham On. We have no guests.
Nah,
And
it's just
Susie's
us.
not here today.
We fly solo.
We fly solo today.
But yeah, I know. This morning, it was like the sun said, yeah, you had 50-degree weather. Not gonna happen again. Here, have some rain.
It's going to change rapidly. All right, so
The
one
sun
thing
was so nice
The one thing we
yesterday.
wanted to do today is not going to happen because apparently I can't get any signal here in the studio, and I was going to run open lines on
Yeah.
the 146-910. I do have an HT, but we tried it before we went on the air, and it didn't work. So anybody listening that's going to get on the 910, never mind, because it
Yeah.
didn't work. And you're sparkly today.
Yes,
For
yes,
those
I
of you
am.
who are listening on TBR FM and not on PCTV, she is all sparkle. It's like a Super Bowl halftime show over here. She's all
As sparkly like a disco ball.
today. Sparkly disco ball today.
Well, yeah, and Mom gave me a new shirt, and it's a pity, and I wanted to wear it.
All right, so we're going to go right to the.
It's about as close to this is about as close to preppy as I can get. Let me alone.
Okay,
Other than that, I'm a geek.
but you're sparkly for simulcast on PCTV.
Yes, I am.
Today's trivia question. He's a silent key now, but he was the inventor of the microwave oven. Who was he?
Ooh, I don't know his name. I believe when I heard about him in school, I believe he was I know he was a scientist. I believe he worked for NASA. I can't remember his name. Where the
We will discuss that
Because
later on.
I remember hearing about him in school and how he had his Hershey bar in his pocket, and as he was messing with the radio waves, it had melted in his back pocket, and that's how he figured out that it could cook food.
So we will tell everybody who he is. All right, here's some happenings going on.
Happenings.
Ham radio wise here in Western Massachusetts.
What is happening?
What is happening? I don't think I may have said this last week, but I was appointed assistant section manager for Western Massachusetts, and part of the reason, thank you. Part of the reason for that was this show. So thanks to WTBR FM and PCTV for giving me an hour of airtime. Anyway, February 29th, mark your calendars. February 29th, which is this Saturday at the Berkshire Bank Community Room in Pittsfield, there's going to be a ham radio test, a VE session. So if everybody, for those of you who are listening that have been kind of studying on the side and not letting anybody know, here's your chance to actually get a radio in your hand after you pass this test.
Exactly.
It's at the Berkshire Bank Community Room at 99 North Street in downtown Pittsfield. The registration is at 12:30, and the test is at 1 p.m. There is a small nominal fee, and if you want to know what that is, please email me at kd2jkv@gmail.com.
For a phenomenal fee, we'll set you free.
For a nominal fee, we'll give you an amateur radio license. Also, April 30th, and this is for everybody, hams and non-hams alike. We are having a weather spotter, what we call Skywarn training, April 30th at 7 p.m.
So you don't need to be a ham to learn about Skywarn.
No. What for the non-hams? Excuse me. For the non-hams, when you take this training, they'll give you an 800 number. and you can just call your reports into the National Weather Service in Albany. And how it works is if you hear Steve Caparizzo or any of these weathermen, they when they get the reports and said there's a tree down here, there's a wire down there, a tree fell on a house there, they get them from the weather spotters.
Oh, like
Now-
like Cap and Tim Drawbridge and all them.
Right, and if you're a ham, here, at least here in Central Berkshire County, I think down South County, they have a Skywarn net. Here it's on the K1FFK 146910 repeater, and you can just call into that net when they activate it and give you reports, and they'll send them to the National Weather Service. If you're a non-ham, after the training is over, they will, excuse me, they will give you a 800 number, and you can call those reports in directly to the National Weather Service in Albany. You'll get a
Nice.
spotter number, and they'll have you in there. So this is something.
Do you have to give your spotter number when you do your report?
For the first few times, yes, and then after a while, they'll know who you are.
Oh, they'll know by like your phone number and that.
Well, they'll
that
know
this
when you
is-
call
it's
and you
this
say,
spotter.
this is such and such spotter number, blah 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 blah. There's a report. For the ham radio operators, just give your call sign. Even the ham radio operators can call into National Weather Service Albany when they're spotters,
Oh,
and
nice.
just give your call sign.
Cool.
National Weather Service in Albany has an amateur radio. It's run by amateur radio operators. So that's April 30th. That's at 7 p.m. at the Berkshire Bank Community Room, also in downtown Pittsfield. And everybody can take this course. You don't have to be an amateur radio operator to take this course, but it's nice to have weather spotter training. It's about a 2-hour training. You'll get a certificate. You'll get the 800 number, and you'll be able, this doesn't give you the thing to go out and start chasing tornadoes.
No.
Let's put the disclaimer on that. It doesn't, as I say, let's go
It
out
does
and-
not say you could be a tornado chaser.
Right. It's just, it will help out. And all your reports that either you bring in, if you're an amateur radio operator, if you put in over the amateur radio, or if you just call the National Weather Service, they send it to all the media. So that's how a lot of, like Jesse said earlier, Steve Caparizzo and Tim Drawbridge and Paul Cayano and
Jesse.
Jess Briganti and all these other news people, weather people. That's how they get the reports. They get them from us.
Like,
So
and
this
also
is,
LaPointe and God knows who else. I'm forgetting.
Yes, this is a ham and non-ham event. So just don't feel because you're not into the amateur radio aspect of this that you can't do this. So this is Skywarn training. It is for everybody.
So pretty much like if you're a weather buff, you can go ahead and do it too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a weather buff and you want to, keep track of what's going on, and they have a nice little presentation because they'll tell you about tornadoes and how they form and the different kind of clouds and what to look forward to. And this is hands-on training. So everybody sign up. You can email me, KD2JKB at gmail.com, and email me, and I will get you set up. I think it's on the National Weather Service page when the sign-ups actually do start. I know it's up there. Just haven't done the actual sign-ups yet. So you can sign up for that, or you can email me, and I can get you signed up. That is a nice little thing to have. What else is going on? I don't know. That's the amateur radio wise. I went to the No Bark meeting on Sunday as assistant section manager. I kind of had to go visit them, and we were talking about the amateur radio operators. No, we were talking about getting Field Day back up and running, but maybe not at full power. We're talking about maybe 1 or 2 radios, throwing the antenna up somewhere. Right now, we're kind of looking for a venue, and I think the guys at No Bark were kind of excited. It said maybe next year we can do something bigger, but at least get something little started. So that's what's going on as far as here. And if you want to check anything going on, WMA.ARRL.org. And now, let's go to the news.
WTBR News.
I got new bumper music. Ooh, new bumper music.
Isn't that cool? We got new bumper
Thank
music.
you. Let me see. As far as local goes, we have a rabies vaccine and microchip.
Microchip.
Don't start with me.
Under the bus. Microchip.
yeah.
Microchip. Microchip.
Microchip clinic at Canterbury Tales Veterinary Clinic. It will be held on Saturday, February 29th. So this Saturday.
If you're not going to the VE session.
Hopefully.
Everything's going on this Saturday.
It'll happen between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. It will be held at the Canterbury Tales Veterinary Clinic, 40 East Main Street in Ware, Massachusetts. Their phone number to get in on the clinic is 413-967-4545. The cost of rabies vaccines will be $15. Microchip is $25. Is walk-in only. Appointments are not needed or available, so there you go. They will provide. They're providing service for the first 50 canine and feline patients. So this is just cat and dog. No rabies vaccines for bunnies or anything like that. Yes, this is these are the few countries. This is the few exceptional countries where you don't need to vaccinate rabbits. Other countries, you need to vaccinate bunnies, which is weird.
And I think what we heard on the news this morning before we came to the studio that there's a distemper outbreak going on.
There is.
Because
They're having.
So I think the veterinarians.
Yes, that's at Mohawk.
Yeah, well, if you're okay, Hudson Mohawk is doing. Maybe Berkshire Humane might be doing
I
it
think
too,
so,
but they're doing
December shots for 10.
Yeah, Hudson Mohawk are doing distemper shots and that. So we also got
also they asked that doggies be on a leash and kitties be in a carrier. There is no exceptions to these rules. This is to keep everybody safe, so that way nobody gets into a fight or anything. So please do. Also, they do not take checks or credit cards or debit cards. It's a cash only thing for the clinic. So there you go.
So yeah, call up and get the that and get the prices for the again for a nominal fee.
Yeah.
It's not that much. All right, so to the ham radio.
Oh, what did you do?
I did not do anything.
I heard a whole bunch.
There's a whole lot of scratching going on because
a whole lot of scratching going on.
I hit the thing here. We're okay.
Nice going.
The ARRL has filed comments opposing an FCC proposal to delete the 3.3 to 3.5 gigahertz secondary amateur allocation. The comments filed on
was it banned?
The band.
Oh, wow.
They want to dump the band. The comments filed on February 21st are in response to the FCC notice of proposed rulemaking in WT docket 19-348, in which the FCC put forward a plan to remove existing non-federal secondary radio location and amateur allocations in the 3.3 to 3.55 gigahertz band and relocate incumbent non-federal operations. The FCC's proposal was in response to the Mobile Now Making Opportunities for Broadcast Investment and Limiting Excessive and Needless Obstacles to Wireless Act, enacted in 2018 to make new spectrum available for mobile and fixed wireless broadband use. ARRL noted that the amateur radio has a long history of successful coexistence with primary users on the band. There is no reason suggested by the Commission or known to us why the secondary status of amateur radio operations should not be continued for the indefinite future. ARRL said in its comments, "We understand that secondary commercial users are less flexible and amateur radio users may desire to relocate to protect continued provision of services and service quality. Radio amateurs, by contrast, benefit from having technical knowledge and no customer demands to continuous service quality, more flexible to make adjustments, and often have the technical abilities necessary to design, improve, implement the means to coexist compatibly with signals of the primary users." They're always trying to take bands away from us. They took part of 440 away from us a few years ago and gave it to UPS, and they haven't used it. So that's why we pay into the ARRL so that they can help support our bandwidth and keep us from losing more and more bands. And you know, at one time, 11 meters, 27 megahertz was an amateur radio band.
Oh, really? The CB band?
Yes, they took that away from us in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Do you have any more news?
Yeah, I do. Radio frequency exposure test finds an iPhone 11 Pro exceeds the FCC limits. Really?
See, now, here's what we need.
There's limits on cell phones for the FCC?
Well, yeah, it's just like the Baofengs. There's this big thing going on that Baofengs are failing the FCC tests and causing interferences and stuff. And we went through that for a while. Now it's iPhone's turn that they are failing the bench tests.
Really? Oh,
remember,
wow.
cell phone is a radio.
Yeah.
And you're actually, when you call in, you're calling on the cell phone, which is a radio, into a tower. So
you're transmitting.
They have to, you're transmitting. So they have to they have to remain in certain bandwidths and certain compliances.
Let me see. The FCC measures exposure to RF energy as the amount of wireless power a person absorbs for each kilogram of their body. Alrighty then.
So how much radiation are you sucking in? It's like the X-ray memes that goes around where they take the X-ray. The guy's got the cell phone thing planted on the side of his head.
Oh, the cell phone tumor in his head. Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of the Family Guy episode where Brian's Zinner singing to the old lady about how much she missed, and there's a tumor. Which is
another good reason to use your cell phone hands-free and with Bluetooth, especially since the hands-free law is now law here in Massachusetts. So the amateur radio operators are they can be on their radios, they can talk on their radios, but hands-free cell phones, people, get Bluetooth. Put it on speakers so you can hear it. PPD.
They also have, and also if you don't want to have that little, Bluetooth headset, they have earbuds if you actually still have a phone jack in your phone.
Go ahead with your stories.
Or if you're, using the little iPad Air.
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish your story, and then we'll go to the break.
The agency calls this the specified absorption rate, or SAR. For a cell phone, the FCC's threshold of safe exposure is 1.6 watts per kilogram. They found out that the iPhone Pro was emitting 3.8 watts per kilogram, so it was, almost 2 times more?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let me see. Ryan McConnell, the chief technology officer, says the test was a follow-up to an investigation conducted by the Chicago Tribune last year. The Tribune tested several generations of Apple, Samsung, and Motorola phones and found that many exceed the FCC limit. Let me see. But yeah, then there's really crazy. They found out that that it was they're emitting too much radiation.
They're emitting too much radiation. All right, we'll come back with some...
over the limit that they're supposed to. It's weird. How do they? Did they have them call or something?
No,
to do
they put it on a bench, and they have instruments that will measure. They'll dial a number or something, and they have instruments that measure the radiation that comes out. The Geiger counter.
Ah.
So we will come back. Let's go to the break because we're kind of late on the break. We will be back.
Yes, we will be back. You were listening to Ham on WTBR.
We would be honored if you would join us. WTBR.
Well, hello. Hi. Wow, you are looking fabulous. Is that a Gucci handbag? And your shoes are gorgeous.
They're Italian leather. This skirt is Chanel, and I treated myself to this Tiffany bracelet, too.
Did you get a raise?
I wish. No, I got all this and more at Catwalk Boutique.
Catwalk Boutique?
That's right. I got the Gucci handbag and Chanel skirt at the Great Barrington location and the Tiffany bracelet at the Lenox store.
Well, you have to tell me about Catwalk Boutique.
You will love it. It's an upscale resale shop for women. They have something for everyone, from casual to designer, and everything in the shop is donated. Best of all, 100% of the proceeds benefit Berkshire Humane Society.
I think Mitzi approves. I have to check it out.
I'm headed there now. Want to join? The shop is dog friendly, so Mitzi can come too.
Oh, absolutely. Catwalk Boutique. The more you shop, the more animals you save.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and at catwalkboutique.org.
Hi, this is Officer Darren Derby with the Pittsfield Police Department. Folks, unfortunately, drug use is a driving factor for a lot of crime taking place in our city, the most prevalent crime being theft. Please, take the extra time to ensure that your belongings are safe inside your vehicle. Do not leave anything of value in plain sight. Hide your belongings. Place them in your trunk or take anything of value out of the vehicle. Always keep your vehicle locked. Don't make it easy for them. This message is brought to you by the Pittsfield Police Department in cooperation with WTBR FM.
WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Wind advisory in effect from 10 p.m. this evening to 7 a.m. EST Thursday. Today, cloudy with a 50% chance of rain. Highs in the lower 40s. East wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, rain. Near steady temperature in the upper 30s. East wind 15 to 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
They're your friends. They're your neighbors. They're even famous entertainers. They're teachers.
Okay, class, settle down. Open your books.
They're scientists and astronauts. They're hams. They're 650,000 strong, and they're just like you. Earning your amateur radio license is easy. Just contact the American Radio Relay League at 1-800-326-3942.
Hi. Welcome to the future.
The future begins in 10, 9, 8.
8.
Oh, wait a minute.
8.
What, again?
8.
Dude, what the fuck? Who is this guy?
3, 2, 1.
WTBR.
I've always wanted a ham radio set. And now that I've got one, I'm going to listen in on distress signals and notify the authorities and prevent disasters and noble things like that. Calling CQ. Calling CQ. Come in, please.
And we're back, Herman Munster. Look, some quick notes here.
Quick
notes. The ARRL website and other online services will be offline on Friday, February 28th for up to 8 hours in order to conduct necessary maintenance. The outage will begin at 0500 UTC and should end by 1300 UTC. Affected will be the main ARRL website, the ARRL store, the ARRL contesting related pages, including log submissions page, logbook of the world, email, and all ARRL headquarters systems will not be affected. We apologize for any inconvenience. FEMA is reporting its independent study exam web materials are currently unavailable. This may impact amateurs who are in the process of taking online trainings for ARES membership and certification. The independent study exams are currently unavailable. EMI is working to determine the cause. Currently, there is not an estimated time of recovery.
Oh, that sucks.
And we had Ramon on here a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the Handy Ham stuff.
Yes, we did.
And here, application packages. So, Ramon, if you're listening, and the application packages are now available for the Courage Kenny Handy Ham Radio Camp to be held July 21st through the 28th at True Friends Camp Courage North in Lake George, Minnesota. Enjoy a week of ham radio fun and learning. Make new friends while building on an on-air community that continues after you leave radio camp. Get a first ham radio license or learn new operating skills. Keep abreast of the latest radio and assistive technology. Wireless internet access is available. Instructors are experienced amateur radio operators from throughout the nation and sometimes other countries as well. Trained camp members provide basic personal care assistance. Campers requiring more advanced personal care assistance will bring their own caregivers and will leave plenty of time to take a break from studying and enjoy traditional camp activities for both campers and caregivers. For more information or to get added to the list for an application, please call Penny Pemdy, P-E-M-D-Y, at 612-775-2291 or email her at handyhams@Allina, ALLINA.com. And here in Western Mass, the Mount Tom Amateur Repeater Association is holding its annual amateur radio and electronics hamfest on Saturday, March 7th, 2020 at the Gate Castle of Knights, 1599 Memorial Drive in Chicopee. All amateurs and those interested are invited. For admissions, give them a email. You can email them to see how much the admission cost is, and again, for a nominal fee, they will set you free. Doors open at 6:30 a.m. for vendors only, and 8:30 a.m. for general admission. The Hamfest will feature a snack bar serving cold beverages, hot dogs, burgers, and the like. There'll be raffle tickets. Again, call or email to find out the prices. An amateur radio license exam session will run at 10:30 a.m. Candidates must obtain an FCC registration number, an FRN number, and pre-register on the Pioneer Valley VE Team's website prior to the exam. Those wishing to reserve a table for selling, please contact Brian Mulrooney, N1FI. Mail-in registration is also available using the form in the official MTARA Hamfest flyer, and that's from KB1LRL. So if you want to know what the prices are for the Hamfest, email Brian Mulrooney, N1FL. Talk in for the Hamfest will be on the W1TOM repeater 146.940 with a PL of 127.3. And WMA section manager Rayla Jolie is planning on attending the Hamfest.
Oh, cool.
And when No Bark has their Hamfest, I will be attending that, and we'll get that up on the page. So you said you still have some leftover top 10s or good stuff, bad stuff from 2019 that somehow we never figured out how to get to because we've always had a jam-packed show. So it's February, or the end of February. I guess go ahead. For you anime, a little segue for you anime, because I know most amateur radio operators have a different have other hobbies than just the radio. I have.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. You have your hobby. My hobby is anime.
So go ahead.
I still had this left over. I did not know how to get it in there because, like you said, we always had a jam-packed show. This is Crunchyroll's, for people who don't know what Crunchyroll is. Crunchyroll is a anime streaming app where you can, see all the different animes and stuff like that. And this is their list. It's not my personal list. This is their list of what's out there, what's new, what's hip, and everything. First one on the list is Attack on Titan. For those that don't know, Attack on Titan is an anime where Titans, big, extremely tall humanoids, are attacking a village, and their military group has to go ahead and take them out. It's become very, very popular. I have not seen it, but hey. It's actually, from what I heard, it's pretty fascinating. Another one that came out is Demon Slayer. That one actually sounds pretty cool. It's about a family that was attacked by demons, or Oni, as they're called. And one of the demons had attacked this dude's sister and had almost turned her into a demon. The dude has to go ahead and try and help his sister to not become a demon and find her humanity again. Which, from what I heard, is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's been picking up steam. It's pretty cool. It's nice. Devilman Crybaby. I have never heard of this one, so for those of you that do know, maybe you know more than I do. I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know about that one. Dr. Stone is another one. Again, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. And most of these I don't know. Fate Zero, which is another one. Flowers of Evil. Hunter x Hunter, I kind of know a little bit about. I mean, I know some of the characters, but I don't know that much. That one's still going on. Actually, that one is almost 20, I believe, almost 20-something years. No, almost 8 years I was a little bit wrong. I was thinking of another one. But yeah. Let me see. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I've heard of that one. There's a crap load of memes about Hunter x Hunter. One of the evil guys, Dio, is like all over the freaking internet. Because people sit there and go, it was me, Dio, and this dude is like everywhere. I'm like, okay, I get it. He's a bad guy. I got it. JoJo is kind of like a mixture of supernatural along with fighting anime, so that's where that one comes from. It follows the family history of Joseph Joestar, which is the main character in that one. It follows his family and his family's legacy throughout the whole entire thing. I mean, it's just weird. There's vampires. There's people that can tell if you're lying just by the scent of your sweat. I mean, these guys are like do out there. Another one is Kill la Kill. That one's kind of weird. This girl is like sent from the devil and stuff to go ahead and to purify the earth and get rid of evil. That is about as far as I know from that. And the last one is Lupin the Third. Like I said, I know some of them.
Oh, so
I'm a little rusty.
So you're actually familiar with some of them.
I'm familiar with, as far as Hunter x Hunter, JoJo, Attack on
we will
Attack
just bring
on
anything
Titan.
up on this show when we have time.
Hey, like I said, I have my.
We are
thing,
all
you have your
inclusive.
thing.
All right, we actually have some stuff in space weather.
Ooh. You guys had space weather?
Space weather? We haven't done space weather in a while.
Yeah, I know.
So we have some stuff in
Well,
space
there's
weather.
been nothing. There was like this one little lonely sunspot that you guys had.
Little only sunspot.
Where it's like, I'm the last one ever. And and then there was nothing else to it. It was just, hi, I'm here. Boop, bye.
Now, wait, there's some interesting information that I'm going to put out. Okay, I don't know if you've been keeping track on the internet, but there was a big thing about Betelgeuse burning out.
Betelgeuse. Oh, yeah, the little dwarf star, yes.
Well, he's not. Betelgeuse is
Really?
brightening again. Call off the supernova watch. Betelgeuse is brightening again. Researchers from Villanova University, who have been leading the study of Betelgeuse's unprecedented decline, has confirmed in a new astronomical telegram that the star has reversed itself. The turnaround was actually predicted and suggests that the recent dimming was an unusually deep excursion of the star's natural 430-day periodicity.
Oh, pardon me.
So Betelgeuse is not.
See, we said it like 4 or 5 times. Where is he?
Betelgeuse.
Exactly. Where is he?
Yeah. Without we segue into that, there is going to be a Beetlejuice 2.
That's been going around a lot.
Michael Keaton has signed on.
Oh, really?
Winona Ryder has
Nice.
signed on, and that's it. We haven't heard anything from Kathleen O'Hara. We haven't heard
no, not
anything
really.
from the guy that played Mr. Dietz.
I forget his name. Oh my god.
Jeffrey Tambor, I think it is.
Yeah.
And Otho is.
Otho's dead, so there's no way.
Otho passed. So.
Otho passed away, so there's no way to bring Otho back.
We tried to summon Beetlejuice and it didn't work here in the WTBR studio.
Here's the weird thing. Captain, if you want to go there, Tim Burton must really like to go ahead and reuse the cast because Kathleen O'Hara was in Beetlejuice, and then she was in Nightmare Before Christmas. She played Sally.
Right, and she was also in the two Home Alone movies.
Yes. The guy that played Otho. He was also in Nightmare Before Christmas. He played the mayor. Yeah. So, yeah, which was weird. I mean, he must Tim Burton must really like to reuse the cast. And funny little trivia on that, on Kathleen O'Hara being in Nightmare Before Christmas. She actually sung Sally's song, and she was also the voice for who the heck was that? Shock, which was the little witch in Nightmare Before Christmas. It was Danny Elfman that played Beryl. It was Pee Wee Herman that played Locke, and she played Shock.
There you go. All right, back to space weather, and as you alluded to, we have no sunspots.
I call it.
Wait a minute. It has now been 23 days without sunspots. The 2019 total was 281 days, so 77% of 2019 went without sunspots.
Oh.
The 2020 total so far, since we're at the end of February, 39 days.
39
70%
days.
so far without sunspots.
Oh. Like I said, that one little sunspot went ahead and showed up and went, "Hi, I'm here." Then 2 minutes later, bye.
We have to work. Our amateur radio operators have to work on the sporadic openings because we have no sunspots. We are really, really below solar minimum.
Well, like
we are peaking solar minimum if you want to go there.
Well, you know how you have that one ham radio operator that sits there and does snow dances on the main potato net? You need one to do. You need one to do sunspot dances. You know.
I think you're all doing. I think you're all doing sunspot dances.
You need to do like some sunspot summoning dances for you guys.
Wait till the propagation comes up. You're not going to be able to get on the air because it's going to be all jammed up.
I know.
Comet Atlas buzzes the Owl Nebula. A Comet Atlas C/2019 Y4 is plunging toward the sun for a scorching close encounter at the end of May. First, though, the comet paid a visit to the Owl Nebula. Michael Jagger of Wilskirchen, Austria, photographed the flyby last night. On May 31st, 2020, Comet Atlas will dip inside the orbit of Mercury, only 0.25 AU from the Sun. Atlas's orbit is strikingly familiar to that of the Great Comet of 1844, which was visible in broad daylight when it passed very close to the Sun in the 19th century. Indeed, Comet Atlas, made by a fragment of the Great Comet, will it too become visible in broad daylight, or will it evaporate before it gets a chance to really shine? No one knows. Whatever happens, the Heliotronic Imager on board NASA's Stereo A spacecraft will be able to record the action. Stay tuned.
Nice.
Any more news from your end of the table over there? Let's go to the break.
All right.
And then we will come back and you can do whatever news you have.
I think I have news. You're listening to Ham On WTBR.
Is it possible the two Utes...
Two what?
What?
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, two Utes.
What is a Ute?
WTBR.
This is the Goodwill Industries of Berkshires and Southern Vermont. Our training center and mission services department are open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and we're located at 158 Tyler Street, Pittsfield. Goodwill Industries has 6 store locations: Bennington, Vermont, 215 North Street; Rutland, Vermont, 230 North Main Street; North Adams, 166 State Street; Pittsfield, 457 Dalton Avenue; Lee, 85 Center Street; Great Barrington, 396 Stockbridge Road. Our training center is located at 158 Tyler Street in Pittsfield. You can contact Goodwill Industries at 413-442-0061 or go to our website, www.goodwill-berkshires.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Wind advisory in effect from 10 p.m. this evening to 7 a.m. EST Thursday. Today, cloudy with a 50% chance of rain. Highs in the lower 40s. East wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, rain. Near steady temperature in the upper 30s. East wind 15 to 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
You think you know what radio is, but there is a radio you may not have yet discovered. Amateur radio, or as it is often called, ham radio. You can talk to the world.
Hey Yoshi, you're my first contact with Japan.
Help when disasters strike.
The Hurricane Emergency Net is now open for priority traffic.
Or make friends worlds away.
G'day mate, beautiful day here out in Australia. I tell you what, the waves are
Say hello to the world via amateur radio. The ARRL, the National Organization for Amateur Radio, can teach you how. Visit helloradio.org and say hello to ham radio.
This is ridiculous. It's crazy. I feel like I'm babysitting, except I'm not getting paid.
Shortwave, take it down, quick. What's it say? Ah, shut up. What'd that mean? You too?
And we're back on Ham On and WTBR FM, a little bit of the Three Stooges.
Of course.
It is one of those gloomy days here.
Yes.
With no sunspots.
like I
And
said,
apparently no signal from the repeater into my radio here, so we can't do what we had planned, but maybe
like I said, it's like the sun said yesterday, hello, I'm here today. I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to take a hike. Bye.
So, back to news.
Yes, back to news. Let me see here. Spain's National Amateur Radio Society, URE, has announced the creation of a working group to fight the dangers posed to our hobby by radio interference from devices such as electrical vehicle charging systems. So, oh, wow. I did not know that the electric vehicles could actually go ahead and interfere. I didn't know that.
Solar panels interfere.
Oh, wow. There's a lot that interferes.
LED lights interfere.
Really?
We have so much stuff that can interfere on the HF bands. So much.
Oh, wow. That is weird.
And it's a good thing that all the new radios now have all this lovely filtering, so you can filter out a lot of it. But yeah, you know, the more LED stuff we get and solar panels and what you're talking about over there.
Yeah, the electric car, the electric car charging stations where we're interfering and causing radio noise when people were charging their cars up. It was actually interfering in radio.
So where was this?
Spain.
Okay, it doesn't happen here because our charging stations are like out on the middle of the thruway. So if you're or on the Berkshire Spur or whatever, so unless you're out there on the radio charging, yeah, you might get a little bit of interference. But not,
yeah,
don't pop up a radio and an antenna near a charging station. Apparently,
they had what it was is a couple of the hams there were doing their nets and everything, and somebody had drove by and parked to charge across the street because one of the gas stations had one of the charging stations for the electrical cars. As the person plugged it in and was charging it, it had caused noise to the part where it was pushing hams off the bands in Spain. I was like, what? And the thing was, is how they figured out it was a car after the person had unplugged it.
It stopped.
Yes, the noise stopped.
So I wanted to ask you something. You've been doing this show with me since September, since the inception of this show.
Exactly, since
as a non-ham that does this show.
Yeah.
Every week, and of course, we do rewatch it and listen to it on PCTV on Thursday night. Have you gotten anything? Because you represent the non-ham part of this.
Peer pressure.
You represent the non-ham part of this. So in the past, this is show 26. 26 weeks of this. So we've been through half a year so far. Have you learned anything? Have you taken anything away from this show for doing it for 6 months?
I've sorry, had a cough. I've learned quite a lot, being that, I've learned that there's different things that you can do. You don't only have to do phone, which is talking in a microphone. You can do CW if you want to, if that interests you. There's programs and classes and everything to do that. It's best to go ahead, and when you do get licensed, to get out and do volunteer stuff to promote ham radio use. Ham radio is also good for emergencies. You can't always rely on your cell phone. Sometimes cell phones do not get through, but a ham radio will.
And let me stop you there for a minute, because you struck a couple of points that this show tries to do. Point number one is we are so versatile. We have so many modes that something would have to interest you. You can talk to the space station. Who doesn't want to talk to an astronaut?
Exactly. I was going to go ahead and say that too.
You can talk. You can run very low power mode. It's what's called whisper, where you can transmit at like 5 watts, and then you can watch on the screen who's picking up your signal where, and you can actually track to see where your signal's going. You could go up where all the big boys play with the microwave stuff. This is on your technician license. We're not even talking about HF yet. But you can go up and play up on the microwave frequencies. There is so much diversity to this radio, not just sitting on HF or sitting on the repeaters and talking. Of course, that's always a good thing to do.
Exactly. And also I learned that, through having Michael on, also that there's not one fit antenna for this. What would work for you wouldn't work for somebody else. This is all about experimental.
Right. This
hobby is experimental. That's what I'm starting to learn. That it's not just you buy this and this will work for this and this will work for you and everything. No, I've learned that you can experiment. You can make your own stuff. If you're really into technology, you can go ahead and build your own, your own rig or your own amplifier or your own antenna or,
and I look at it this way. There is no more fun than building an antenna and not knowing what it's going to do until you get on the air. I built a G5. I built a G5 RV, and I was doing contesting, and I was going up against stations that were putting out 1,500 watts. I'm putting out 100 watts on my little transceiver with my G5RV 10 feet in the air, and I'm playing over the top of these big stations contesting.
Exactly. I remember you had one in Albany. It was made out of a pool skimmer and a paint roller.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
You know, it tuned up on so many bands, and you were able to go up over the top of people with this.
Yeah, we built, it was actually built for 27 megs, 27 megahertz, and she's right. We built we took a 15-foot extension paint roller extension, aluminum paint roller extension. We put the extensions...
And also half a pool skimmer.
We put the extensions together. We drilled we drilled screws through where the extensions connect. We had to make it 15.
Your trivia question too.
We'll get. Thank you. We'll get to the trivia question in a minute. And we put, it had to be 15 feet for 27 megahertz, and then we wired it up. It worked on 27 megahertz. It worked on 10.
It worked on 80, I believe.
It didn't work on 80.
No, it didn't.
It worked
no, it was what, 60, wasn't it?
It worked on 10 meters, it worked on 11 meters, and it worked on 20 meters and 40 meters.
Thank you.
And it took us an hour to build, and it worked on 4 bands, and it was amazing that I was going with 100 watts, no amplifier, none of this stuff, but 100 watts on top of my roof back in Albany, which was 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And this guy was sitting on kind of an angle and just kind of thrown together with my tuner. And I was pulling contest stations that they couldn't hear with people with 1,500 watts.
Yeah,
so
I think you're
hitting so much to do.
I know you hit Puerto Rico with this. You hit Ireland with it, and
I hit the South Pole. I got the QSL card from the station down there in the South Pole.
Yes, you did.
And that was on digital on that antenna.
Yeah.
So it was, this hobby is fun. And I know they don't teach it a lot in STEM classes anymore, and they've taken radio out of schools. But it's good to have radio in this, if not in the schools, it's good to get into a hobby radio.
Exactly.
There's so much to do in this hobby, and we're not just talking about Aries or going to clubs, meetings, which is all cool to support clubs, because there's some people in the clubs that will help you. And No Bark is one of those clubs, and you should really go to a No Bark meeting, that Northern Berkshire Amateur Radio Club meeting, and sit with them, and you can learn something. Okay, the trivia question says, even though we're alone, the hour goes quick.
Yeah, it does.
She had to remind me of the trivia question.
Yes, I did.
So the trivia question was, he's a silent key now, but he was the inventor of the microwave oven.
Like I said, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but I know the story.
He was W1GBE. His name is Percy L. Spencer.
Thank you.
So with the 2 minutes we got, which means you have about a minute, with the last minute, just finish telling us what this show has brought to you as far as a non-ham.
It's given me a more advanced look into technology. It made me actually kind of interested in technology. When I went to high school, middle school, I thought, okay, I'm never going to get into technology. I'm never going to go ahead and get into all that. It's actually gotten me interested. There was one time, I forget what receiver or transmitter or whatever, radio that it was, and you couldn't figure out what the problem was, and it kept cutting out. And I went in, I told you open it, and I told you open it up. It was
the
that there was something loose.
It was my ICOM. It was because we got like a minute. So it was an ICOM. There was a loose filter in there. So
yeah, and I actually went ahead and said that it was loose. That was funny.
So we will see you next week. This is Peter.
This is Jessica.
And you've been listening to him on the WTBR FM. We will have Joe W1HAI here
Oh,
next
cool.
week. Remember, WMA